Yeah. What's up, good people, and welcome to another episode of Keep It Thorough, where we give you the real behind business, health, money, and self development, and introduce engaging concepts to help you perform better in all areas of life. I'm your host, Cedric Lavelle, joined by my counterpart, E Double.
Your boy E Double. We back at y'all again for episode 81. And today we're going to be talking about effective communication for better networking. Very, very important skill in life and in business. And like we always say, be sure to follow us on all the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube. Did I say YouTube? I don't know if I said YouTube.
But we got that too.
But yeah, follow us, subscribe, and be sure to check out the kits on the website. There's a kit that corresponds to every single episode that we do, and they actually pretty dope. So
Yeah. Getting a lot of traction on those too.
Yeah, getting a lot of traction, a lot of traffic. So yeah,
I like that.
Let's go
I like
kick it
that.
off.
Let's get to it, man. So, communication. When it comes to networking and when it comes to communication, you can't make connections if your communication is ineffective. Simple. Communication has to be on point. The way that you interact with people as it relates to networking, what you say, the way that you position. That's a nice hat you got on, brother. I see you, know what I'm saying? Getting your fit right.
No, I was just trying to adjust my brim a little
Absolutely.
bit. But yeah, I appreciate you, my brother.
Yes, sir. Hey, go check those out on the website, keepitthorough.com. Buy you a Circle Pass snapback. But anyway, ineffective communication, it's not going to work, right? And so when it comes to networking and when it comes to effective communication, your communication should always be with an intent to build relationships and create shared opportunities. That should be the intent. How can I build these relationships and how can I create shared opportunities, i.e. create something of value? How can I do something that's beneficial to me and also beneficial to the other parties that's involved in the conversation as well too, right? And so you want to make certain that whatever it is that you're saying, whatever it is that you're looking to communicate, that it resonates. It has to resonate with the person that you're speaking with, and it has to be of relevance, right? Because you don't want to get yourself into a situation where you're having a conversation with someone and it's going way over their head because you're not even hitting the points of what they're there for, right? Or the interaction and the engagement that you're having is not very topic focused, and you're kind of going everywhere, right, within the conversation. And so effective communication starts with being able to establish a solid relationship quickly. And then with that relationship, you definitely want to see how you can add value. And I think that's one of the big things as well too, being able to add value. And it's kind of similar to marketing, right? When you're marketing yourself or when you're marketing a product or a service, you always want to make certain that whatever it is that you're positioning and introducing, it adds value. And so that's one of the things you want to focus on when it comes to communication and effective networking. Build those relationships, make certain that you're adding value at the same time as well too.
So absolutely, and I think that's a good way to start this off, right? Talking about the importance of effective communication, right? And I want to also talk about leveraging the power of connections, right? And kind of like what are the benefits of networking, right? So some of the value and benefits of networking, and I'm sure we've all heard this, is your network is your net worth, right? Mm-hmm. And basically, like, what does that mean, right? So like what that means is the value of your networking, so your like networking skills, correlates to your growth opportunities.
Right.
So like examples of that is it can lead to like new doors, open new doors. So what are those new doors? They can be opportunities. They can be new clients. They can be new partners. They can be new mentors, right? And depending on the individual, they may be able to give you some valuable insight. You may meet a mentor who can give you some information that they've obtained over years and years of experience, right? And then it also can give you a competitive advantage, right? Having people in your corner who have experience, who have resources, can give you a competitive advantage and put you in a position where you have something that your competition doesn't. And then also, when we talk about networking, it's very important to have a strategic approach, right? So when we talk about that, the importance of effective communication, being able to clearly articulate what you're looking for, right? Or what it is you offer, right? That's very, very important, because if you can't articulate that, then that means the other person isn't going to understand and they're not going to see your value. Yeah. Like, what is the point of this? Like, I don't understand why we're doing this, right? And then again, mindset. We talk about mindset all the time, right? And having the mindset that when you're networking, you have the intentions of cultivating relationships for collaborating and partnerships, right? Like that's the point of networking, building, collaboration, being able to collaborate and then build, partnerships, like long lasting collaborating and partnerships, right? And then, when you're authentically invested in fostering those supportive network or those relationships, you foster a supportive network that will continue to contribute to yourself and add value. It adds value to your reputation, right? Yeah. Like when people know that you stand on what you say, you're solid, you do good business, that helps to like boost your reputation.
Absolutely. I agree, bro. And it's important that just the strategies of being an effective networker rather are always highlighted. And that's basically what you were saying right there, with certain ways that you have to approach networking, certain conversations that you have, the way that you have to go about having those conversations. And so 3 things that I've always considered to be key when it comes to effective communication in order to get results, in order to create those relationships, in order to create those partnerships for them to last, in order for you to be able to speak to a certain situation with confidence and be able to articulate what you can offer, is by 1, active listening. 2 would be showing authenticity and genuine interest. And then 3 is being an effective storyteller, right? And so when you're actively listening to somebody, you're making certain that your communication skills is for building those connections, but you're listening to the needs of the individual. You're not looking to respond, you're looking to understand, right?
Yeah,
and that's how you
to understand and not to respond.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I tell, when you're a kid, when you're growing up, your parents always tell you, you need to listen to understand, not to respond, right? And a lot of times people get so caught up into a conversation that they're not listening. And I know for Ian, our background is in sales, and that's one of the things we always have to do right. Like, be an active listener. Make sure you're understanding what they're asking you, what their needs are, what their challenges are. And once you understand those things, then you can be able to articulate not only what you offer, but also like paraphrase what they say. Okay, so you said, you need X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, that shows understanding.
Right,
that you're listening.
Exactly,
yeah.
bro. So you have to do that. You want to make sure that you're actively listening. That way you can, to a degree, repeat what they say, and then you position what it is that you offer in that process. And then with the showing authenticity and genuine interest, you can't build a connection and rapport with somebody if you're faking it, right? It's not going to work. Their relationship is not going to be solidified, and it's not going to stand on anything. Just back to E's point, right? You want to make certain that you're showing genuine interest and being authentic, right? And that's the worst thing that you could do is not be authentic. That's to me, and I'm not even going to get too much in detail on that, but that's corny to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're just kind of faking it.
Well, just being in it for yourself,
right?
Not in it for really genuinely cultivating a relationship. You're just trying to get over, essentially.
Absolutely.
How can you help me?
That benefits no one. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't create a long-term relationship, because in the end, you're going to get called out. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's going to recognize, like, hey, bro, like, that ain't it. Like, they ain't really here for you.
That does the opposite to your reputation.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That nobody want to work with you.
It has a negative effect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you want to make certain that you're showing genuine interest and being I want to say being authenticity, but being authentic
Authentic,
at
yeah.
the same time. You know what I'm saying? Then the last thing, effective storytelling. Everybody likes a good story. You know what I'm saying? If you can tie what you offer, what you do, and demonstrate how the product or the service or the intent or the ideal or the interest is aligned with what they want, and do it in a very storytelling, strategic type of way. You know what I'm saying? Making it relatable, making it relevant, making it very tangible to a degree. That also helps in building effective communication. So those are three things you definitely want to do: actively listen, show genuine interest and being authentic, and then also be a good storyteller. You know what I'm saying? Hands down, those things can to lead to you becoming a master networker, like myself and Eric. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I think we are master networkers for sure. So cool. So we kind of talked about, what it means to successfully network. We kind of talked about the importance of communication and effective communication, and then, being strategic with your approach, right? And all of those positive things. And then Sid just gave some tips. So what another thing that networking can do for you is to expand your reach, right? So, and when we talk about expanding your reach, one of the things that has significantly or exponentially, expanded that reach is technology, right? So, technology allows for connecting with like-minded individuals everywhere, right? So platforms like Facebook, Twitter, now X, Instagram, Threads, Reddit, and so many other virtual communities gives you a wider reach. And now that reach doesn't just go outside of your city or state, right? Like, it allows you to tap into those global networks. And as I mentioned, it exponentially increases your opportunity for connections and growth, right? So being able to tap into, I don't know, maybe you're into some sort of sport or some sort of hobby or something that may not be big in the United States,
That's
right?
a good example.
Being able to tap into, that community of folks who are, avidly or actively involved in that community, where it allows you to kind of break down some walls and kind of remove the barrier, so to speak, where it feels like y'all are a lot closer than y'all are. You know what I mean? So, and then again, gives you those different opportunities where you can meet people who, may not look like you, may not think like you, but, you guys share a common interest that you can kind of come together on and, cultivate those relationships, which again can lead to, additional opportunities and growth, right? So very important to realize that networking allows you to expand your reach. And a lot of people don't realize, like, you're not going to get to where you want to be by yourself and with the people that you just know right now. Like, that's not how it works. Like, you got to meet new people. You have to acknowledge you don't know everything. You have to realize that, it's better to let somebody else do it who, has more experience and knowledge, right? Or to get advice and feedback from somebody who already knows how to do it, which can help you or help you find somebody else who can do it for you. You know what I mean? But it's very important to realize that you have to network and meet new people and build those relationships if you're really trying to get to the next level, because you can only do so much yourself.
Absolutely, bro. And that's big. You definitely want to be mindful of that and be highly aware. And one of the things that we always like to do with every episode that we have is always give you something that's tangible that you can do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Once you stop listening to this podcast, if you want to write these things down, you can write them down, but you can actively, start
Or you
doing.
can go look at the kit and you ain't even got to write them down. You can
That
just go
too.
look at them because
There
they
you go.
already posted.
Keepitthorough.com.
You can snap, you can screenshot them.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. This is not a shameless plug. Keepitthorough.com. Go to the.
Hey, it's all on brand. We
View.
ain't nothing shameless about it. Hey, keep it thorough.
You know what I'm saying? View the kit. You know what I'm saying? Go to the bottom. Get these 5 tips. But no, 5 things that you definitely want to do immediately in order to become a master networker. So one thing that you want to do is define your networking goals. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to get accomplished as it relates to networking, whether it's building within an industry, whether it's finding mentors, whether it's securing new clients. Have a goal. Know what it is that you want to do. And how that benefits you is it gives you the opportunity to be more strategic and more intentional. So whether it be you wanted to go on social media, whether it's you wanted to go to a particular platform, go to a different setting, whatever the case may be, go to a different area, you have to define those goals and know what it is specifically that you wanted to do. Next thing that you want to do is just go to relevant events and conferences. So you want to be in the spaces. Where are these people going?
Real.
You know what I'm saying? Where are these people going? Where are they
Want to
at?
be rubbing shoulders and elbows with these folks.
I was just going to say that. You want to rub shoulders with them. You want to see who the faces are. Who are the dominant players within that industry? Who do you need to connect with? Who knows who that can introduce you to this person, so on and so forth. But in order for you to do that, you have to be in the right place at the right time. It's all about positioning. You got to position yourself. I say this all the time, man. You can't ask for a blessing if you're not positioning yourself for the blessing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to put yourself into those situations or put yourself into those rooms where people will know who you are, what you offer, what you can do. And then from there, that allows you to start building those relationships and building that rapport, right? And then,
like what you just said, though, about being in the right place at the right time, right? Or when we talk about blessings and when people say you have to be ready to receive your blessing, right? I think that's what they mean. Like you have to be prepared.
Absolutely.
You got to be prepared to receive your blessing. If you're not going out, doing the right things, putting yourself in those places, then you can't receive those blessings.
You right on spot, bro. Right on spot. Then the next thing is just cultivating an online presence. So that just goes back to what E was talking about with expanding your reach, right? So using social media platforms, professional networking sites, online communities to expand your reach and connect with industry professionals, your LinkedIns, you know what I'm saying? Getting on those types of platforms and starting to build up a community of followers who are connected to you based off of what you talk about, right? And we're in the digital age now. You know, if you don't like it, you're going to get left behind. You better embrace it. You know what I'm saying? Find a platform that you feel is most beneficial for you, that you can learn more about and use it effectively, right? And a lot of people get on these social media platforms and look at gossip and a whole bunch of other stuff. But, man, you got to understand, man, this is a tool. If you wanted to build something, you wanted to create something, you wanted to establish something, you have to be on some sort of social media platform. It's inevitable. And like E was saying, man, your proximity can definitely attribute to your progress, right? And if you're wanting to,
I like that, Sid. I like that.
That
boy.
was a bar. You know what I'm
your
saying?
proximity can definitely affect your progress. Hey, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Hey, but
that's y'all gonna catch that one in the real. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Absolutely. But you want to make certain that you're doing your best to expand. How can I reach these people? How can I engage, interact? How can I put good content in front of these people where they know what I'm about and what I represent? That way we can make these connections. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with making connections over the internet. You know, as long as you ain't getting catfished. You know what I'm saying? So you just want to make certain that you're doing that right. You know what I mean? And then another thing is just being authentic and genuine. And I know I said that earlier, but we can't emphasize that enough, right? You want to be authentic. You want to be genuine.
Look at the name of the podcast.
Keep it thorough. And people have to understand, Eric and I have built this brand off of being thorough with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no type of moment in our relationship where I was side-eyeing him and, you know what I'm saying, was thinking like, I don't know what his angle is, you know, what he trying to do, what he trying to get from me, whoop-de-woo, that type of thing. It was never that. You know what I'm saying? Like we
always genuine intention.
Absolutely, man. And we built a rapport and a relationship over the years. And I think, you know, everything happens at its most appropriate time. You know what I'm saying? We had to get ourselves in a position where we were ready to connect and build something. Keep it thorough was the ideal situation because of what we represented, what our relationship represented, but also just what we wanted to position and brand and, you know, really have other people connect with. And that's what it's all about, you know, being thorough, being detailed, being true, being real, being authentic, being genuine, so on and so forth. And then the last one is just follow up and nurture connections. And I think that's one of the biggest things that a lot of people lack. They lack the follow up. They don't nurture their connections. Call people, Shoot him a text.
Which I honestly, I think that speaks back to what we was talking about being genuine,
Yeah.
right? Like if say for instance, I reach out to Said because Said is a real estate agent and he can give me a real good deal on the property or something. I don't know. And say Said does that, I get the property, and then Said don't hear from me again for 6, 7, 8 months.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I reach out to him again just because I need another property. Like at that point, you continue that cycle. That Said gonna start to feel like I'm using him. Like, what's up?
Yeah.
Now it's way different if I already then hung out with Said a couple times, or maybe we got a mutual friend. You know, we done kicked it a couple times, and then I reach out like, hey man, you know, I'm trying to buy a house. You know, I heard you a realtor or investor or whatever the case may be. And it says like, yeah, cool, I could look out for you. So cool. So we do that. And then maybe a month after that, it's Said's birthday. I reach out, hey man, happy birthday, man. What you got going on? You know, way different type of relationship, right? Absolutely. Now Said may reach out to me when there's a potential opportunity.
Yeah.
Like, look, I got this property over here, bro. Eric comes to mind. Cause hey, good dude, man. I worked with him before. You know what I mean? He got a good heart, you know, good dude, you know. So it's very, very important. Very, very important.
Gotta do that, man. You gotta set yourself up for success. And these are all basic. I ain't gonna say basic because some people like,
well, they should be common sense. It
You know what
should be
I'm
common sense. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It should be some basic things that you can do. But if it ain't in you, it ain't in you. But if it is, you know, man, follow these things, and you'll definitely be able to see some networking success for sure.
Hey man, if it ain't in you and it wasn't in you, hopefully after watching, reading, or listening to this episode,
you have a change of heart.
It'll be, yeah, right, there you go. Have a change of heart and it become a part of you, right?
Yeah.
So cool. So moving on, right? As we kind of, you know, always at the end, we kind of like to summarize this thing, right? So making networking work for you, right? So it's very, very important to tailor your networking approach to specific goals in industries, like Said mentioned, right? Having specific goals. And then it's also important to realize that networking is not like a one-size-fits-all endeavor, right? What may work for Said might not work for me. What works for me may not work for Said, and vice versa. You know what I mean? Whoever you choose to pick, right? So it's very important that you tailor your approach, you know, to your goals, your communication style, your personality, and your industry, right? Now, Said mentioned earlier the importance of the world that we live in now with this digital age, right? So if you're the type of person where you don't like the internet, you're definitely going to limit yourself, like he said, and you should definitely try to find some sort of platform that works out for you. But if that is you, then you're just going to have to double down on getting out the house and going to events. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to, or travel. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to travel instead of hopping on the internet and dealing with somebody in Japan. You just need to go to Japan. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
and go see what some of them events.
I will say this. If you're not a big social media person, understand email marketing. That can be the next best thing. Now, obviously, you want to definitely be on social media platforms, but at least get familiar with email marketing so you can communicate with people as you engage and as you progress. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. But so like I said, you got to tailor it to your personality and your communication style. So you got to, you know, whatever works for you, but whichever channel that is or way that is, still very, very important to be an effective communicator. Absolutely. So if you're communicating over email, if you communicating over blog posts or forums, if you're communicating in person at seminars, whatever the case may be, that need and importance of being an effective communicator still is very, very relevant.
Absolutely, bro.
And then leveraging your strengths and value proposition, right? So being an effective communicator obviously leads to building, you know, great relationships, right? And that's extremely critical. And understanding your strengths and how to position yourself effectively to make networking work for you, right? So if you don't know what you're good at, if you can't speak to what you're good at, then you're not going to be able to position yourself properly, right? So like if an opportunity comes up, you won't. So like for instance, Said is very good at branding, right? And like verbiage and concepts for brands, right? So now it makes it easy for him to not only position himself, but now Said's a part of my network. It makes it easy for me to position him, right? because he knows what he's good at, which he's been able to articulate to me and show me through us networking and working together. But now I can go and vouch for him and say, you know, what he's good at.
Right.
So it's very important to understand your strengths, because by understanding that, then you can understand how to properly position yourself in certain situations to make that networking work for you.
Absolutely.
And then having a strategic communication approach and being intentional with your relationship building creates a networking strategy that yields meaningful outcomes to grow your business, right? So by being intentional with your approach, right, and having a very strategic communication approach, and knowing what your end goal is, you know, makes it very easy to get the outcomes that you're looking to achieve, right? So if you are if you're looking to get into real estate investing and you know that, and you know you lack certain information, first and foremost, you should do a lot of due diligence. Don't just hop into something and then try to go network with the top people.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not going to
up for
work,
failure.
because as soon as you start talking to them, they're going to realize you don't know much, and then they're going to realize you don't know stuff that's very easy to know, and then they're not going to want to spend time. They're not going to want to waste their time with you, right? And successful people, a lot of them understand the value of time.
Yeah.
Right. And they're not going to want to waste time with you. They're going to feel like they're wasting their time when you're asking them questions that you could have went and Googled and found out in 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? But now when you start talking to them about complex strategies, right, and using certain terminology and things that they're familiar with, and maybe challenges that they dealt with, or whatever the case may be, now they're going to get excited, right? Like, oh yeah, okay, I dealt with that. You know, this is how I overcame those challenges. Let me give you some resources. Let me tell you, you know, reach out to this person. They can put you in contact with such. You know what I mean? That now you start to really become effective, right, in your communication, and they understand what it is you want and what you need, and then you know it leads to those outcomes that you desire. So. Networking.
Yeah.
Right? Anything you want to add to that, Sid?
That's it, bro. Like you said, man, networking. You want to be a good networker? Be a good communicator.
Yeah, that's what it starts with.
It just sounds weird coming out. Networker, communicator. Anyway. Yeah, man. Get it.
That's because you emphasizing that or.
Yeah,
that
the or. But nah, be a good communicator and build relationships. You know what I'm saying? And I said from now until forever, you know, me and E are the perfect example of what it means to network, build relationships. You know what I'm saying? And so if you need an example, you need a blueprint, go to our website, go to the About section of the website, keepitthorough.com, and read the mission that we're on. You know what I'm saying? And they can give you a clear view of how this thing even came together. You know what I'm saying? But now.
Yeah, and what it represents, right? And it's beautiful just watching it grow. And anybody who's been here from the jump and have seen, you know, what it's developed into, and anybody who's even just started listening now, if you go back to some of our earlier episodes, you'll be able to see the drastic difference,
significance,
and what we represent, though. But with all that said, man, episode 81, effective communication for better networking. We'll be back at y'all next week. Be sure to join us on all social media platforms. And y'all know how this go.
Yeah.
If you don't do nothing else, keep it thorough. And we'll holler at y'all next time. Deuces.